She's not over you. She's obsessed. Silently, secretly, and slowly losing herself. But you wouldn't know it, because pride wears a flawless poker face. She laughs louder, posts brighter smiles, moves through the world like nothing's missing. But when the lights go out, when the world goes quiet and there's no one left to impress, it's your silence she hears. She doesn't reach out. She doesn't call. But inside, she's unraveling. Your absence isn't just noticed. It's inhaled, like smoke from a fire that's long been extinguished, yet still lingers in the air. And no, you're not doing this to punish her. You're not playing games. You chose peace. You stepped away. And in that silence, you became powerful. That's what's driving her mad. For the first time, she can't read you. She can't reach you. She can't control you. Welcome to Stoic Heartbeat, where love embraces wisdom and silence becomes your greatest strength. Today, we'll explore what she's truly feeling, why she hides it, and how your stillness is doing the one thing she never expected. It's breaking her. If you're ready, let's dive in. 1. The pain she'll never say out loud. The loudest cries are often the ones you'll never hear. She won't text. She won't call. She won't fold. But don't be fooled. Your absence is anything but unnoticed. It echoes inside her like thunder in an empty canyon. Loud, constant, and inescapable. She isn't at peace. She's frozen. Not because she's moved on, but because pride has her trapped in a prison masked as strength. Every day, she stares at your name. Her thumb hovers over a message. Typed, deleted, and retyped. Again and again. She wants to reach out more than she'll ever admit. But fear holds her back. Fear that your silence isn't anger or resentment, but peace. And peace terrifies her. Because peace means you've healed. It means you've let go. If you want to be powerful, master your emotions. Seneca, you have not by playing games, not by seeking revenge, but by choosing yourself. By choosing stillness. And that is why she can't move. Why she can't breathe. Why your silence has become the very storm she's drowning in. Even if she'll never say it out loud. 2. You were her fire, now you're just smoke. Imagine a room filled with smoke. Not from a burning fire, but from one long since extinguished. The flame is gone, yet the scent remains. Clinging to the curtains, the walls, every breath. That's you now. She can't see you. She can't touch you. But she feels you everywhere. Your memories linger in her mind. In her spaces. In her heart. What once wrapped her in comfort now cloaks her in longing. What once brought safety now brings sorrow. She thought you would be the one hurting. She thought your silence would break you. But instead, your silence has become your strength. And it's breaking her. Because when silence is chosen by someone who is healed, it doesn't whisper weakness. It roars with power. Now, she sits in the quiet she created, suffocating on the smoke of a fire she thought would never die. She underestimated you. She expected pursuit, apologies, explanations. Instead, you vanished with purpose. And every breath she takes reminds her of what's lost, and of the fire that's never coming back. 3. Her ego versus her emotions, and you're winning. She scrolls. She watches. She overthinks every small sign. But she says nothing. No call. No text. No surrender. She isn't waiting for closure. She's waiting for you to break. Betting on the version of you that used to reach out first, to explain, to chase. But that version is gone. Now you are still. You are centered. You are stoic. And that stillness is shaking her foundation. She doesn't know how to respond to a man who no longer needs to be heard to feel at peace. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Marcus Aurelius, that is exactly what you've done. You didn't fight her silence. You didn't try to force understanding. You simply became unshakable. And now, while she waits for the old you to surface, she's left battling her own pride, alone. This is the heartbeat of true stoicism. Not noise, not drama, not war, just silence, powerful, commanding, undeniable. You have become the calm after the fire, and she is left breathing the smoke. Instead of punishing you, your silence is punishing her. Every day you don't reach out, she's forced to sit with the weight of what she lost. And that realization, it doesn't hit all at once. Creeps in slowly. It arrives late at night when the notifications stop. When the world goes quiet. When there's no one left to perform for. Her screen goes dark, but her mind won't. She replays everything, the conversations, the choices, the moments. She questions it all. Not because she's healed, but because your silence holds up a mirror she can no longer avoid. It's not just about missing you. It's about realizing you are no longer waiting. And that realization, quiet, relentless, complete, is what's unraveling her from the inside out. For she watches you but hides behind silence. She won't call. She won't text. She won't show her hand. But trust me, she's watching. She scrolls through your stories, your posts, your energy. She looks for clues. A caption, a lyric, a subtle sign that says, "I still miss you." But what she finds instead is peace. Your peace. And that devastates her. Because this isn't the version of you she expected. She thought you'd be broken, lost in regret. She thought you'd be unraveling without her. Instead, you're becoming. You're evolving. Living with intention. Breathing with purpose. Grounded in discipline. And here's the part she never anticipated. You're not performing for anyone. You're not dropping cryptic hints. You're not playing digital chess with emotions. You are simply living not to prove anything, but to become everything you were meant to be. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. Epictetus. And she feels that freedom not as inspiration but as loss. She lost the script. You stopped acting. And now she's just the audience, sitting behind a screen, watching you become the man she never thought you could be without her. And that realization cuts deeper than any silence ever could. Before we dive into Lesson 5, we want to take a moment to thank you for staying with us on this journey. Every moment spent in reflection is a step closer to wisdom. Your presence here, listening, absorbing, growing, is a gift, not just to yourself but to a world that deeply needs more stillness and strength. If you're finding value here, please take a moment to like and share this video. Each share plants a seed, a small, timeless act of growth, just like the lessons of Stoicism we honor here. Thank you for being part of this journey. 5. Breadcrumbs are a trap, not a sign. She won't come back with clarity. She won't offer genuine vulnerability. Instead, she'll drop breadcrumbs, a vague story, a familiar song, a casual "hey, hope you're doing okay." It's not love. It's not healing. It's not even connection. It's control, a test, a quiet way to check if she still has access to you. Because if you respond even just a little, she gets her answer. Yes, you're still there. Yes, she still holds power. But here's where everything shifts. You've stopped chasing crumbs. You're no longer decoding cryptic signals. You're no longer mistaking curiosity for care. You're no longer measuring your worth by how much someone notices you. You know your worth now, and that changes everything. So when she tosses a hint into the void and you don't respond, you force her to face something she's never had to before. Your absence as a reality, not a reaction. You are no longer hers to summon with a breadcrumb. You have stepped into your own light, and now she must sit alone in the shadow of what she lost. You're not cruel. You're not bitter. You're simply done. Done dancing for someone who wouldn't show up fully. Done interpreting mixed signals and halfway affection disguised as mystery. You didn't build boundaries to punish her. You built them to protect your peace. Because when someone truly wants to be in your life, they don't hide behind riddles. They show up clearly, consistently, honestly. Not with breadcrumbs. Not with cryptic stories or accidental appearances in places you used to go. You don't chase that anymore. You don't decode anymore. You observe and you move forward. Because you are no longer hungry for crumbs. You've outgrown the table where they were once served. Let her wonder. Let her test the waters. But don't step back into the maze she created. You've walked out. And out here, in the open air, there's clarity, peace, and freedom. 6. She loves the idea of you, not the real you. Here's the truth she'll never say out loud. She's not in love with who you are now. She's in love with the idea of you. The version who stayed soft. The version who stayed small. The version who stayed available, even when it hurt. But that version is gone. You've changed. You've grown. You've healed. You've become whole without her. Meanwhile, she's stuck, clinging to an edited version of the past, fantasizing about what could have been, instead of facing what actually is. And that fantasy, it isn't built from love. It's built from guilt, from ego, from fear. She remembers the best parts of you. The laughter, the comfort, the softness. She forgets the loneliness she caused, the moments you carried the weight alone. Now that you're silent, grounded, no longer emotionally accessible, you're not just a person to her anymore, you're a mystery. Not the kind that needs solving. The kind that forces her to question everything. She's not haunted by what happened. She's haunted by what she lost. And slowly, she's realizing you're not just on pause. You're gone. The more you evolve in silence, the more her fantasy starts to hurt. Not because it's beautiful, but because it's no longer real. She's in love with a memory. You're building a future. So whatever you do, don't shrink to fit the version of you that lives in her mind. Don't trade your reality for her nostalgia. You are not her fantasy. You are your truth now. And that truth, it's not waiting. It's not wishing. It's walking forward. 7. The door's open, but her pride won't move. She wants to reach out. She thinks about it more often than she'll ever admit. Her hand hovers over your name. Messages get typed. Deleted. Typed again. Deleted again. But she can't do it. Not because she doesn't care. Not because she's over you. But because pride won't let her. So instead of speaking, she waits. She paces. She panics. She thought you'd break. She thought you'd come crawling back, just like before. But you didn't. You stayed still. You stayed silent. You stayed strong. And now the silence she once used as a weapon has become the prison she lives in. It echoes around her, relentless and cold. And every passing day your silence grows louder. Not as anger, not as punishment, but as undeniable proof. You have moved on. Your silence now speaks louder than any words ever could. And while she remains trapped behind walls built from ego, you've done something far rarer. You walked free. Free from needing closure. Free from playing games. Free from proving your worth to anyone. He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty. Lao Tzu. And that's exactly what you've done. You conquered the one thing she couldn't, yourself. You didn't react. You didn't chase. You didn't fold to emotion. You chose peace over pride. Stillness over struggle. Clarity over chaos. And that is what's breaking her now. Because the door is still open. She could reach out. She could drop her pride and speak her truth. But she won't. Because admitting she lost someone strong, someone who didn't need her to feel whole, is more terrifying to her than silence itself. And you're no longer standing at that door waiting. You've already turned and walked away towards something greater. 8. Your silence holds all the power now. You're not searching for closure anymore, because you've become your own closure. You don't need a final text, a long apology, or a tearful confession. You healed quietly, fully, without ceremony. Not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. She expected two things from you: desperation or rage. She thought you'd beg, or lash out, or at least react. But instead, you gave her nothing. Nothing but silence, laced with peace, anchored in emotional discipline, sharpened by personal growth. She didn't lose someone desperate for a second chance. She lost someone who evolved in front of her eyes, and then disappeared beyond her reach. Now, she watches your life from the sidelines, realizing painfully that you're no longer a page in her story. You're the chapter she'll never finish. And eventually, the moment will come. It always does. A soft, safe, non-threatening message. Hey, just thinking of you. A memory. Maybe just an emoji. Just enough to knock without fully stepping through the door. But when that message comes, you won't meet it with fire. You won't respond with bitterness or ego. You'll meet it with stillness. Because you've become the one thing she never expected. Unshakable. You're not cold. You're not cruel. You're simply no longer available for what breaks you. And that is where your true power now lives. Not in punishing her. Not in proving anything. But in how peacefully you walk away from what no longer deserves your energy. When you master your silence, you don't lose connection. You find yourself. In the end, your silence wasn't a punishment. It was your awakening. You didn't pull away to play a game. You pulled away to find peace. And in that quiet space, you didn't become colder. You became clearer. You stopped chasing. Stopped explaining. Stopped bending yourself just to be seen. And that stillness, that's what she'll remember. Not the words. Not the arguments. But the moment you chose yourself and never looked back. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius, and you have realized it. You hold the power now, not because she finally saw your worth, but because you did. And no matter who reaches out, no matter what message comes in the dark, you will meet it the same way, with grace, with calm, with unshakable presence. Because you are no longer waiting to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself. Thank you for watching Stoic Mindset Mastery. If this resonated with you, don't stop here. Subscribe, explore more of our content, and join us on this journey. Because life isn't about chasing, it's about living fully. It's about letting attraction flow naturally. And it's about standing still when the world expects you to break. We'd love to hear your thoughts or ideas for future topics. Drop a comment below, and let's continue building a community rooted in wisdom, clarity, and peace. See you in the next video.